Okay, before I start doing C++, then I have to go to bed. Update on the shit that I had to do. Let me do a final commit real quick. What was the final? Was it smooth? Oops, what the fuck? Please don't. We're good? Okay. Let me make sure everything's cool. On. Fireball. Recover. Okay, good. Alright, one sec. Let me make this commit. Okay. So, I made some updates. The last thing was I needed to, after I got, oh fuck, I don't have impulses yet for my spells, or my projectile spells, but my spells now trigger explosions, and the explosions are what actually damage this player. That way I can have a separate actor that pushes the player, because otherwise I have to make it so that once my spell hits something, it stops and then does the impulse. And maybe that's actually better. Maybe it's better to have one actor move and then stop and then change, and I don't know, it feels overcomplicated. It feels like one isn't better than the other. It feels like maybe compartmentalizing them is better. Have one fire projectile that comes, and once it hits something, a person or a thing, the actual center of it hits something, then it explodes. And how does it explode? It disappears, but passes info to an explosion. The explosion is of the proper size, with the proper amount of particles, and does the proper amount of damage. For example, Fireball. So Fireball now has particles like this, and it damages the player. And I also added a health overlay. I also added a recover spell. Recover. Yeah, it doesn't do anything because I'm not hurt. I also added a health overlay. I might have already said that. I think I did. And it updates whenever we get damaged. Fireball. So you can hurt yourself, and it deals full damage to yourself, because that's how it is. If I have a lighter, and I run around and I try and burn somebody, and then I do the same thing and I burn myself, I take the same damage. It doesn't make any sense unless there's some sort of magic resistance you could have, but that would still affect yourself just like it affects other people. So, sure, maybe the damage you take is different than the amount of other people take, but it's not because it's your spell versus their spell. It's because it is the type of resistance you have. So if I don't know why it just did that. Fireball. Recover. I have a little particle effect for that spell. Fireball. 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 Recover. 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 Boom. Now we're full health. Fire blast. Fire blast. Fireball. It has fewer particles, the less build-up time it has had. So Fire Blast is created, and as it builds up, it will deal more damage. So like right now, we take 40% of the damage. The most it can deal is 50 for now. Fire Blast. The minimum it can do is 15. Fire Blast. Fireball. It has that many particles, maybe 100-ish. Fire Blast. But now I'm going to let it go, and it should have more particles, because the particles also scale with the size. So yeah, Fire Blast, Fireball. We could see the individual particles. They weren't super grouped up. Fire Blast, Fireball, Magic Missile. I had to see, significantly more. And now the explosion is more significant than Fireball too. So not only does it do more damage, but it also shows you why it does. See, I said that word, and then I kept talking, and then it only triggered at the end, which is kind of annoying. But I'm not sure if I want to do that just yet. So I'm not sure how that would work in a magical world. Because maybe I add extra words on the end, and if I say it and then I add one of these extra words, then it modifies the spell. But I feel like I'd rather do the modifier word first. So I'm not sure. Recover. Recover. And now we're full health. Fireball. 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 Recover. Recover. Fire Blast. Fireball. Recover. 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 So that spell, Recover, heals, I think, 50. Hold on. Fireball. 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 Recover. Okay, it heals 40. Recover. Recover. Nice. And I made it so instead of it healing instantly, it heals you instantly, but the visuals update over half a second right now. Fireball. The damage happens insta. I don't know if I think I want damage to be instant, because I don't like when... I'm trying to think of a game. I don't think it's Tarkov. It might be DayZ. I can't remember. But I have a memory of playing a game where when you get hit, recover. When you get hit, you don't know until later. And sure, maybe that's helpful, but I think in a video game, it's more helpful to know immediately. Because if it's real life, I can look down and see that I'm hurt. But on here, the only way I can tell that I'm hurt is my visuals, or if I had a little health indicator somewhere, I would only see that. If the health indicator was delayed, then that would suck, because I wouldn't know that I'm hurt, and I would have no way to know unless I have visuals on my body, and we don't. Not yet, maybe. I don't know. So, maybe that would be cool, to work on adding some sort of material to the character and make it get more red, or add some sort of woundedness. I'm not sure. I don't know what the graphics are going to end up even looking like for this. Fireball. But yeah, so now there are particle effects, and I can probably officially remove the hitboxes from these spells. Fireball. But I don't want to yet. Just for debugging purposes, to make sure that things work. Like before, magic missile. It still just shoots 5 fireball. Zzz, in a row, 5 fireballs. But the problem is that one magic missile would hit, and its hitbox would be here, and the next one would hit the end of its hitbox, and the next one would hit, and the next one would hit, and you would get this chain. And it was because each each fireball, because they're technically each a fireball, and each one of them was not ignoring the collision boxes, it would collide with them, because it was overlapping with all. Now I have it so they only overlap with the world, or something like, or no. I have it so that the damage, the explosion, ignores physical stuff. It only damages players. So there's no other damage. If I wanted to make it so you could destroy objects, then I would simply add world dynamic, boom, and then you have objects that can be destroyed. And then I can ignore collision or volume. I'm not sure which one a collision volume falls under, but it's fine. So today's work really was adding another spell just to test, fireball, adding the particle effects, fireball, recover, healing, adding that overlay, adding the particle effects for the heal, fire blast, adding separate particle effects for this spell, so that it's more of an impact. The sound is pretty much the same, and maybe I can change that soon. But that's that for now. I mean, voice works, multiplayer works. I was looking into host migration, because right now this game is hosted via a listen server and then clients. So there's the listen server, and then the clients can join or be invited to, and they could see any server in the browser. The problem though is, just like Mage Arena, just like Repo, or at least how Repo used to be, or actually no, Repo has dedicated servers now, some people say, but others say they don't. Lethal Company, another example. When the host leaves, the game's done. But so there's no migration. You have to go into C++ or buy some guy's plugin. I'm not doing that. Do this free. I'm trying to learn, not trying to pay. Learning so I can create my game. I'm not paying. I'm not trying to release this and charge other people and shit. If I release a game, it's not going to be more than $1. Like, ever. It's not happening. It's going to be $1, and it's going to be ridiculous. Maybe for like my crazy releases later on, okay, we can say 10 for my big VR game. But people already invest in VR. I'm not trying to have people pay a whole bunch. And there's the whole, like, I mean, I guess you could say that if maybe there's a point where there's I guess there's probably a fair price threshold where increasing the price, where decreasing the price further will not increase the amount of people who are going to buy your product. For example, let's say this new deodorant comes out and it's perfect. Maybe it organically and healthily or something mitigates sweat or whatever. It's just the best thing. Maybe it's Dr. Squatch or something like that. And let's say they make it $5 and everybody switches over to, or let's say, yeah, $5 in the last month. Everyone switches. Well, if they then reduce it to $2, you're probably not going to get that many more people choosing it if everybody who knew about it was already buying it. So if anything, you're just cutting your profits by 2.5 times, which is bad. So if you had instead started at 2 and then increased it to 5, sure, maybe you lose some people, but most people would probably, 90% of people would probably say, oh, that's still a totally valid price. Are you kidding me? I'm not so broke. It's $2 for deodorant. Granted, I think my deodorant's probably $2, maybe $3, something like that. Similarly for a game, if it's $10 and everybody's going to buy it, and then you reduce it to $1, how many more people are going to buy it? Maybe double. Okay, well, you've still cut your profits by fucking 80% because you went from having, let's say one person bought it and you made $10, but now 2 people bought it, but you only made $1 a piece. So you made, instead of $10, you made 2. Okay. People who are trying to do it for some money, I don't know, just, I'd rather say $1. Like if I ever, when I end up putting this thing out here, it'll be $1. It's how it'll be. It'll be probably 99 cents, let's say. So I think that's it. I don't know. I was talking about that. I was just thinking, I was ranting about people putting sure, I mean, I guess if you spend your effort and you go out and you put a plugin out there and it's good, then okay, charge. But I mean, well, I guess it's fair. For a professional studio to use your plugin, it's only $40. That's it. They paid $40 and that's it. You're not entitled to any of their royalties or anything. It's just $40 you got. You feel compensated. Fuck. I guess the point is that I'm doing this to learn, not to make money. So I'm not in it to be spending money either. I'm not in it to make it. I'm not in it to spend. If I happen to accidentally make something, then okay, maybe spending makes sense a little, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I feel like I want to try and solve as many problems as possible that I need. I need to identify all the problems that need solving. And if it totally needs solving, I want to solve it myself. I don't want to pay. I want that to be the absolute last resort. Actually, last resort. Slightly bother my friends first, and then finally pay after bothering online people before my friends. So that's it. Fireball, magic missile, fire blast, fireball, fireball, fire blast, fire blast, fire blast, fire blast, fire blast. And so they're all independent compared to before, where the second one and any others would get fucked up, or would only the last one would work because the others were controlled by the character, and the character could only control one at a time. So if you do one fire blast, then you cast another fire blast, then you lose control of the first fire blast. But now you have 4 different fire blasts, and then boom, they all work because they're all going wherever you want. So they're all, because the logic is contained inside each one of them. Fireball, recover, recover, recover. And now healing is, it's instant, but you also, there's like a not even half a second delay basically. And I can set that to be whatever I want. Oh, what the fuck is going on? Okay. I'll show it real fast. Or no, it's in widgets. Health overlay, the most it can ever be is this. And we start it with a target opacity of 0 because I don't want to show any red because you're full health. And then whenever you get hurt, I want to instantly update it. Then whenever you're healing instead, so if the opacity we need to go to, so greater, if we need to increase how much blood is on the screen, then we need to show it instantly so that the player's not like, oh, I didn't, or so that the player does not see the hurtness come delayed. You should instantly know if you're hurt, because in real life, I can instantly look down, see that I have a knife wound in my chest, and even though I can't feel it because of adrenaline, I can see it, and I need to fucking start healing quick. But in the game, if you only have your health opacity or your health bar, it needs to update instantly. The healing can like trickle. I don't want to just instantly, it was jarring going from a really dark screen to bang, just instantly. So, yeah, I didn't want to do that. And then, yeah, I have one timer basically saying that over some period of time that you can set, in my case, it's 0.5 seconds. We set this timer and it starts. From there till 5 seconds, we determine how much I want to heal every 100th of a second. So in this case, we're going to do 50 hundredths of a second, and we're going to apply them from another timer. So it's basically timer starts, done healing, boom, stops. Instead of it being instantly healing. So that is that. Fireball, fireball. It does, sometimes I say that, fireball, fireball. Like I start with an up pitch, like a, or maybe it's like fireball, 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 fireball. Fuck. Fireball. I have to like not go so hard at fireball. Damn, it doesn't recognize. I'm sad. Fireball. Okay. I'm gonna make the tolerance actually super high, and then I'll lower it over time. So it's in speech recognition. I'm gonna make these extremely high so that they don't ever accidentally trigger. Even earlier, recover accidentally triggered. Fireball. 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 Magic missile. Fireball. Fire blast. Fire blast. Magic missile. Fireball. Fireball. Fire blast. Fireball. Fire blast. Or fireball. Fireball. Oh, I thought I hit it. It was close. They both just hit the ground at the same time. Okay, that's it. Nothing crazy. Did I change anything? I have no idea. Oh, set all tolerances to 10 to prevent false positives. Boom. Okay, that's it. All right, night.